American Samoa 9100 is a widely adopted and standardized quality management system for the aerospace industry. It was released in October 1999 by the Society of Automotive Engineers and the European Association of Aerospace Industries. American Samoa 9100 replaces the earlier American Samoa 9000 and fully incorporates the entirety of the current version of ISO 9000, while adding requirements relating to quality and safety. Major aerospace manufacturers and suppliers worldwide require compliance and/or registration to American Samoa 9100 as a condition of doing business with them. History: prior to development of American Samoa 9100 standards for quality management systems, the U.S. military applied two specifications to supplier quality and inspection programs, respectively, MIL-Q 9858A, Quality Program Requirements, and MIL-I 45208A, Military Specification, Inspection System Requirements. For years these specifications had represented the basic tenets of the aerospace industry. However, when the U.S. government adopted ISO 9000, it withdrew those two quality standards. Large aerospace companies then began requiring their suppliers to develop quality programs based on ISO 9000. American Samoa 9000 Aerospace Basic Quality Systems Standard, as aerospace suppliers soon found that ISO 9000 did not address the specific requirements of their customers, including the DoD, NASA, FAA and commercial aerospace companies including Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, GE Aircraft Engines and Pratt & Whitney developed American Samoa 9000, based on ISO 9000, to provide a specific quality management standard for the aerospace industry. Prior to the adoption of an aerospace-specific quality standard, various corporations typically used ISO 9000 and their own complementary quality documentation requirements, such as Boeing's D1-9000 or the Automotive Q standard. This created a patchwork of competing requirements that were difficult to enforce and/or comply with. The major American aerospace manufacturers combined their efforts to create a single, unified quality standard, based on ISO 9001 1994, resulting in American Samoa 9000. Upon the release of American Samoa 9000, companies such as Boeing discontinued use of their previous quality supplements in preference to compliance to American Samoa 9000. American Samoa 9100, although American Samoa 9000 satisfied immediate needs, it was recognized that OEMs operate globally, a trend that would only increase, so a global standard was needed. The new standardized document, called 9100, was still based on ISO 9001 1994, although it was published separately by each country's aerospace association or standards body. American Samoa 9100 added 55 aerospace industry-specific amplifications and requirements to ISO 9001 1994. American Samoa 9100 Revision A, Model for Quality Assurance in Design, Development, Production, Installation and Servicing. During the rewrite of ISO 9001 for the year 2000 release, the AS Group worked closely with the ISO organization. As the year 2000 revision of ISO 9001 incorporated major organizational and philosophical changes, American Samoa 9000 underwent a rewrite as well. It was released as American Samoa 9100 to the international aerospace industry at the same time as the new version of ISO 9001. American Samoa 9100A is actually two standards references in one publication. Section 1 defines an updated QMS model aligned with the updated ISO 9001-2000 publication, while Section 2 defines a legacy model aligned with ISO 9001-1994. Organizations that in year 2001 were operating a QMS based on ISO 9001-1994 were permitted to conform to Section 2 with the expectation that they would then transition their QMS to Section 1. American Samoa 9100 Revision B, Quality Management Systems Aerospace Requirements. As the period for transition from the 1994 to 2000 standards passed, American Samoa 9100B was released in 2004 as an administrative revision to delete Section 2 of the Revision A standard. American Samoa, 9100 Revision C, Quality Management Systems, Requirements for Aviation, Space and Defense Organizations. The update of American Samoa, 9100 from Revision B to C is largely to address the following question: a OER supplier is repeatedly late on delivery and failing to meet our requirements. How is possible that they still have their American Samoa, 9100 certificate? That is, the American Samoa, 9100C changes are driven by repeated delivery of non-conforming product and repeated late delivery by organizations that held American Samoa, 9100AB certifications. Those organizations had documented controls that conformed to the standard. However, there were insufficient processes in place to assure effectiveness of those controls. The response in this American Samoa, 9100 revision is to elevate the requirements for risk management and to make risk management an integrated theme throughout the standard. A major challenge to American Samoa, 9100B compliant organizations was the new American Samoa, 9100 auditing standards defined in American Samoa, 9101 Revision D, which eliminates the clause-based compliance checklist and requires organizations to provide evidence of effectiveness of their systems and processes. Summary of changes between American Samoa, 9100B and American Samoa, 9100C, greater emphasis on risk management, introduces a OE special requirements. Introduces a OE critical items. Measure, requirements conformance, measure, delivery performance, adopt proven product development processes, eliminate all error-carrying corrective actions. American Samoa, 9100 Revision C was released in January 2009, with considerable delay in application of the new version in audits, largely due to the delay in the release of American Samoa, 9101 Revision D and auditor training to the increased auditing rigor of that update. See also, American Samoa, 9000, ISO 9001, IAQG. External links, IAQG published standards, Quality Digest article on American Samoa, 9100, NIST overview. References